Hello, it's Artisan Crafter Amy, and I have another tutorial. This will probably be my last one using the February Graphic45 monthly card club kit. And I know I talked about that a little bit before, but hold on, I have my March one right here because I just shared, some of what I did with my March Graphic45. So you get a huge variety of stuff. In the February one, it was the 8x8 paper pad from their Alice's Tea Party. I'm really using it up, so I don't have as much left. But for today, we're going to use this piece here for the main piece of our card. We're going to make a waterfall card today. And I think I have everything like all prepped and ready to go. Let's see, I've written some instructions that I'll copy into the box, and then I figured out I have Amy's Artisan Crafters Facebook group, and I've kept the PDFs there. I printed on a, misprint. This printed much smaller and black and white. That is not what I wanted. So I reused it when I printed my own instructions we're going to use today. We'll try to make any changes if we find any, any typos, or sometimes, see, like here, I end up changing the measurements. Oh, let's make 5 of those instead of 4. And then, need to come back and change the instructions. So, yep. So here's the instructions. If you want to try to get a little snapshot of that, you can. There is, just a little quick ask to be invited. I say yes, you're in. I think that's pretty much all there is. And then I have the PDFs for any of the tutorials where I've created the instructions for it. So far, it's just all the Graphic45 stuff, because I am hoping to be chosen as one of their brand ambassadors for their next year, to be honest, right? So they're doing a lot of extra Graphic45 centered stuff, and a lot of, some extra card making. I think this is nice in junk journals. When I give out the journal, I like to include a card with it, and then I use the elements or the mechanisms that we have inside the cards in the journals, or if it's a smaller card, I'll use it as an element in the journal. I just love how this came out with these slimline cards. You just don't ever really see people use them horizontally, and I felt like this piece off the fantasy page was just begging for that. And what I've done is I've made this card a couple times, and one of these characters gets cut off. It would actually fit all the way across, but it just wasn't as pleasing proportions for the card to me. So you can either, cut off the little guy with the tea, or if you cut off the Queen of Hearts, you can leave just the little teacup sticking there. And I've done it both ways. So on this one, it has the whole Queen of Hearts, and we've lost the one of the card characters. And then in the stuff I've prepped for today's project, we've kept the card guy and cut off the Queen of Hearts. So what you're going to need is you will need this piece here. Let me go through my instructions. That'll probably be more helpful. Yes. If you have the card club kit, that gives you the slimline card. What we did today was we went ahead and we just made the card base. I guess I'll show you what I've prepped here. So if you cut a piece that's 8.5 inches tall and 7 inches wide, you score it down the middle at 3.5 inches, fold it in half. That gives you the slimline card that size that comes with the club kit. I like the envelopes that come with those are a lot bigger than the card, so you can make a big chunky card and have it still fit in the envelope. I am so excited about that. I will find I often cut my cards down smaller than the envelopes right at the beginning of my card making, so that once I get them fat and chunky, they'll still fit in their envelope. Okay, so that's the card base. You're going to want your Cropadile, and you're going to need some eyelets. This is one I have the most of, is these heart-shaped ones, and I think it looks cute with the Alice in Wonderland theme. You're going to need some lace. If you have some like this, you could cut it in half. You can use eyelet lace. You can use crocheted lace. This lace I have here would work. You're going to want some ribbon, and believe it or not, you're going to want a 4-pronged fork. You can have a 4-pronged fork. That will help you immensely. And then you'll only need one piece, 6-inch piece of ribbon, I think. maybe bring a 12-inch piece of ribbon just to be sure. The bow will take about 6 inches, and now that I think about it, we'll need another piece for the end, for the pull at the end. And if you have the card club kit, you get one of these little metal keys. You're gonna get a bunch of these little metal keys. I still have just a couple left, one for today's project, and then 2 to do the other 2 cards that I haven't done yet. That are, you know, my favorite that came with the plan, with the kit instructions. Let's see, scissors, you can round the corners if you want or not. If you have some rhinestones or some bling, that could come in handy. And again, here, I've used different lace on each one of these. I say let's just get started. Here's, oh, the sample. What are we going to make? Everybody wants to know, and I'm just sitting here talking and not showing anybody. So here's the inside. It's similar to the waterfall card we made vertical, but this time we've made it horizontal, and we've matted the little pieces to make them bigger. And of course, we're using different pieces. We're not using the same little ones that we used for our other waterfall card, because there's enough of these to do this and a pop-up with a twist card, which I may do a tutorial on also. That one's not near me. I've done a couple more cards using the die cuts and other stuff, but this is all I have planned for tutorials so far. Let's get started. Like I said, so I've already talked about how we're going to cut out the base, and then you want to cut your matting pieces. I wanted to double mat this with the first one I made in particular, because this cardstock I used wasn't as stiff as I'd like. This is a lot stiffer cardstock, and it probably didn't need the double matting to help reinforce it. And I also covered the back on both of these as well with the pieces as I've given you instructions for here. The main difference to what I'd written was we want 5 of the small matting pieces for our little Alice's, or our little characters. You want to have some fussy cut flowers out for most of these projects we're doing. And then I must have used there's one of the pages is all of these little cards, these tiny little portrait cards. And I'm out of samples of that page to show you that. You want to cut out this Alice's Tea Party page, the Time for Tea, or any 5 you haven't used already, really. I mean, pick your 5. But it doesn't really matter which 5 you pick. It'll be just as cute. And here's where we've used the fussy cut flower. And from that cover page, we've grabbed the tea set here, this tea set here. We're going to use that little fussy cut flower and this strip from here. So, and then if you have the monthly club card kit and you don't want to make your base, you can just grab one of the Slimline cards from there. I've gotten us a head start in hopes of making this a nice, quick, easy to understand tutorial. So what we did with our centerpiece, as I described at the beginning, is this time I kept the card guy and cut off the queen, and I used different bling. This time I used some little some sequin, some blue sequin that I had, and I used eyelet lace. This it was a scrap of pink gathered lace. I have no idea where it came from. And then here I've backed it with some foam tape so that we can glue this down onto the center of the cover. Make sure my glue's working here and that I'm on camera. Yes, I am. All right. Yeah, I was really excited about sharing my ideas. I hope everybody else is excited as I am. Sharing my ideas for more ways to have fun with your Graphic45 8x8 pads, and or if you're a monthly kit subscriber like I am, more ways to use all the fun things that come in your kit. I definitely like to do at least two of my 2 favorite ideas from the instructions, but I just love seeing what they do, and then like, what would I do instead if I were the designer, right? Okay, so that's was very nicely prepped. I backed it onto some product packaging to stiffen it up, to make it really nice and stiff before putting the foam tape behind it. I like that. It keeps the packaging out of the landfill. I think it was a piece of a cereal box. We keep that stuff in dispensers, you know, that keeps it fresh longer, keeps the critters out of it. All right, so I've grabbed another one of the cute small little keys that came with my G45 kit. I know there are other places to get these if they're out of stock or you can't get your hands on these. There's a couple other. I like putting the key on the front because for me, I thought it would help weight down the front of the card, like to hold it shut, as if to hold it shut was its purpose there. And I just eyeballed the center. I put it right under the kitty for me. And then on this one, it would be under the Mad Hatter, you know. All right. When we let that dry just a little, and the reason why I had this other paper pad underneath was I did think, look how nicely this Woodland Friends, it's been on sale forever, the Patterns and Solids, or if you just already have any, looks so nicely with the Alice in Wonderland papers. I had that out to show you that. We're going to use some fussy cut flowers. I had a fussy cut butterfly I found on my desk. I thought might look cute with this, so I brought that out to show you that idea. I'm going to try to set those where they won't get lost. And then here's what we've got going on. So if you look at the instructions, it has you make this long mechanism piece that's scored. And what we want to do is, I think I said you want to fold it at, I think it's the 5-inch mark. It's this first score line here. You'll have a long piece where you want to round the corners, and then you want to fold it at that first score line. And we're holding it this way because we're going to use it horizontally. And then this is going to be our little magic piece, the mechanism piece that makes all the magic happen. So I'm just going to pick the order of the ones I have here. You know, they have little colored symbols in the corner, you know, like red heart, blue spade, red diamond, blue club, red diamond. So I went red, blue, red. This is how, if you're looking at the tiny little emblems, that was how I decided. And it looks, you know, I used wet glue. If you use double-sided tape, you wouldn't have, you know, some of that. I also could have just put it under something to, you know, to keep it flat while it was drying. So you want to apply your glue to the edge, and we're going to glue it not too close to the fold or we'll have a little bit of trouble with our waterfall. Oh, there we go. I'm like, I checked everything first. I could have gotten, you know, if I could have gotten that closer to the edge or a little bit neater, that might have been nice. I get so excited about the tutorials that my hands can get a little shaky. And then we want to make, as this is folded, make sure that everything is still lining up straight and that each card is going to line up with the one before it when they flip out. You can use things that are different sizes. I've seen somebody do that. That's not today's project though. If you're copying along today and not just using these instructions to make your own waterfall element, which is something I have done. I watched someone else make theirs and I figured out, you know, just the dimensions to make a waterfall element for any project I wanted. Part of the secret is this blank piece at the end is the size of your little waterfall element. And then you need a 1/2 inch for every card to that. And a couple inches after it's been folded in half, you know, hanging off the end. Not bad. I don't know why. I feel like I'm being too quiet today. There we go. My glue is a little bit low. I have art glitter glue in my little dispenser there. It was actually a needle nose dispenser that has where the little needle pokes it clear. But once that got clogged up, you can use pliers to pull the little metal tip off and then continue using it, which is what I've done. so it doesn't dispense as fine. You know, I'm going through a lot more glue by not having that little tip on it. But the nice thing is I can poke this clear with a paper clip now. I don't need a needle to poke it clear. Oop. I didn't have that down firm enough before I started to fold the next crease. There we go. And then still just making sure that everything's staying lined up. We're down to the last one here. It's a Sunday for me. I hope you're all having a nice day. I can hear turkeys in our yard making what I call turkey lurkey noises. They're making their gobble gobble noises. I don't know if it's hunting season or not, but it does seem that, you know, we see them a lot more during hunting season. They like to come hide out at our place. We've even had hunters stop and ask if we would let them hunt the turkeys that like hiding at on our property. This is they get hit by cars, and you know, I don't think we have an overpopulation problem. I like that they feel safe here, and it's cute to see them run around and with their little babies. All right, so we can actually attach this before we put anything down, and we want to do that before we punch the hole and tie the ribbon on the end. Unlike when I did the horizontal video, I did this a little bit out of order. Okay, so let's fold these up out of the way. And let's get our wraparound piece adhered to here first, right? And this is where double-sided tape would really come in handy. And even though it's in my have list, I did not have. When I was, you know, thinking, what do I need to do today's video? And you're still thinking, what is that fork for? You're going to have to wait till the end to find out what we're going to use the fork for. It's a tip I picked up from Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. If you haven't seen her channel, you should definitely check her out. I've been a fan of hers since I found her channel. Admittedly, I don't spend as much time watching the crafting channels as I used to, because I'm fortunate enough, my college-age daughter has moved back home, and so now we watch TV in the living room together where I craft, and then I just watch a little bit of crafting videos in the evening. You know, I really do want some double-sided tape before I stick this down, so we're going to test out my microphone. I'm going to take just a couple steps away, if you'll bear with me, while I grab my double-sided tape. All right, here we go. See, it was just 2 steps away. I have 2 work tables sitting near each other, and actually I might have been able to even reach it from the chair. All right, so I'd like to prep the back of this piece with some double-sided tape, but we're going to wait to stick that down until after we've created the pull part. Created a pull. But I like double-sided tape is instant. This is very strong, and we will be able to play with our mechanism right away. And then I can do the same trick with the powder that I did last time. And then I also like to use glue still. Just as I've heard people say, the double-sided tape never cures. And that makes me a little, I mean, I've tried to tear some things back up that I use with double-sided tape, but apparently it's just not as long-lasting. And I like my little container needs to be refilled. I like my stuff to be lasting. What did I just say? Not to adhere this down until after we did the other thing, and then I got to talking and just started doing it anyways. All right. Well, if you did that too, here's what we can do. We could have just left it all sticky and dealt with it that way, but I can still make it work with it already stuck down. So we'll just do that. If you have a Cropadile, that makes it easier, or if you have a hole punch with a, you know, an eyelet setting tool. If you don't, you can use just like a hole punch and one of those hole reinforcers. You know, maybe ink it up blue to match, and then use a hole reinforcer, and you'd want to make your hole further from the edge if that's what you were doing there. All right, so we'll need a small piece of our ribbon. How much did I say? How much ribbon? Yeah, I think I might need to adjust that. I think I just had the ribbon we're going to use for the bow, and I think we're going to need more than that. I'm going to put down 15 inches. I'm just going to add a 1 to that 5 and make it 15 inches. So if you've gotten the instructions, these will be fixed before, you know, I'll make these corrections before I paste it into the description box and before I upload it to the Facebook group. But you'll want 15 inches of ribbon. It doesn't have to be white. That's what I'm using. Where's my Cropadile? Here we go. So what I'm going to do, since I do have, and I wanted to show you, I'm going to use the fork to tie a bow, and I'll show you a couple times. So we'll do that. I'm going to use this little blue one. You can't see that it's a heart anymore often once you put the ribbon on it. So I haven't gotten quite as much enjoyment. Sometimes I just don't even put the ribbon topper because these little heart eyelets are so cute. But we'll want that for our pull. And this is the, I said white ribbon, let's use white ribbon. I think, I don't have my ruler over here. Oh, here, I can use my cutting board. Yep, just as I thought, the 6 inches. I've learned to grab 6 inches without even trying. I just tend to grab about 6 inches at a shot. And that makes nice just to do a short little pull tab for our mechanism. And of course, if you waited to remove your tape and to glue it down, you know, like, because watching me, you're like, ooh, I'm not going to do what Amy did. I'm not going to get carried away and remove my backing and add glue too soon. It's because I wanted to talk about also using glue, but I got carried away there. Okay, and then let's just add a little bit of translucent powder to our little cards to make sure that there's no little sticky bits or tacky areas where the cards are going to just get kind of stuck together when it sits flattened inside the card. That will really flatten out these pre-prepared elements that I have that are just not quite, they have character, that's for sure. Okay, look at that. Can you believe we did that already? There we go. The other thing we'd like to do is to add this little cutout to the top of the card, or here we go, I have that. The little Queen of Hearts that we cut off the end. Oh, our dog, the turkeys, I told you about the turkeys in the yard. You could use her up there. I would fussy cut her out and just put her up there. We could fussy cut her and put her down here at the bottom. I'm gonna do like my sample, I think. And it looks like this had been stuck to something and ripped back up. Isn't that fun? Changed my mind. But we'll just kind of nestle that around our little heart shape. Or if you had a fussy cut butterfly, that would be cute. You know, just to give you some ideas. If you're using your own stuff, you don't have the same thing. Maybe you've already used this element. It's used up out of your pad. Few ideas on how you can follow along with me, but still put your own personal touches into it. Oh, that wheezing glue. Okay, so there's that, and I think the last thing is the bow. I'll show you how to tie the bow. We'll do a couple of them here that we're gonna put up in the corner, but I'll show you a few times because I felt like it's a little bit tricky to watch. You want about 6 inches, or if you just start with the length of your card, which I know is 8.5 inches, it's more than we need, but when you're learning something, it might be nice to have the little bit longer tails, and it just makes an easy measuring tool because the card is right there to measure your pieces of ribbon. Okay, so you just need the one piece here, and we're going to take the fork, and I like to wrap it like a shawl around the fork, like where the part that wraps around and is on top wraps around like this. You know, I cross this, and then I would say wrapping it counterclockwise around so that the one on top is in my right hand. And you want to poke that through the center of the tines. And you're thinking, why, Amy? Why? Why would you do this? It makes the most perfect little bows. All right, so you do that and you cinch it down onto the fork tightly. I usually use a 6-inch piece, to be honest. A 5-inch piece is a little bit difficult, but you can make it work. And then what I did, sorry, is we've got a piece dangling in the front, and then the one piece we want to put back through the top. This piece that was dangling from the back side, we want to put through the middle of the tines and tie them into a knot. And that's it. And we will have the cutest little perfect bow like is on my card. And then you trim the ends. So see, if you start with a shorter piece, you'll have a lot less trimmed pieces. But I have uses for these, and you probably do, because the trim pieces aren't going to be smaller than an inch. Anything smaller than an inch is a little bit harder to use, but these size pieces we could make use for. So there's the little bow. And I think that just looks so cute. And then we'll decide which bow. We'll make a few bows and we'll decide which one we want on there. So I'll show you again. I'm going to hold it down in the front with my thumb, and then I'm going to wrap it around counterclockwise like a shawl. You know, so it's wrapped around there, snugging the fork like a little shawl. And if you lift it up a little, then you have room to access that in the middle, so you can poke the ribbon through the middle. The right-hand side, the one that's overlapping on top. The ribbon that's on top is the one that pokes through the middle. And if I'd burnt the ends, you know, finished the ends of my ribbon, that would have made this a little easier because it's fraying. Then that one that we poked through the middle is now in the back, and we want to put it down through the top, the middle of the top, the 4, and tie that into a knot. You want to snug it down low on the fork and get your knot really tight, or you have kind of a floppy bow. Oops, and I was cutting that the wrong way. And then I like trimming my ends with it still on the fork. I can get them pretty even, and then I add that to my I have a little bin of scraps. So there's a white bow, which I think actually looks the cutest, but I wanted to make a lace bow. So let's do that. Maybe the lace bow will be the cutest, and we'll have to have that. We're going to wrap it like a shawl so that the one on top is in my right hand. And I'm going to poke that through the middle of the bottom. And then, you know, snug everything down onto the fork. And then that one I poked through the middle's in the back. Now we're going to put it back through the top. And we're going to put the scissors out of the way and tie it into a knot. And then turn it around and trim the ends if you want. Maybe you want long ends. Maybe you don't want your ends trimmed. There we go. And then we're going to save those little lace bits. I think I liked the white ribbon the best. I can't hear what you're thinking, but I think I like the little shiny, the shininess from the white to add another element to the dimension we're adding to the front. And this is it. This is it. We're done. You have, if you followed along and have your instructions and everything, then you have this horizontal waterfall card that we made from scratch, not using the card blanks for, and this one I didn't round the corners on purpose, and then on this one I did round the corners for the card base. You can do it either way, and I think both looks nice. This is Artisan Crafter Amy, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching, tuning in, and watching the tutorial. And I hope you'll root for me for the brand ambassador posts, or they have at least one, I think, going on at Graphic45. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share if you think you know anybody else who might enjoy the content. Have a wonderful day.